So when we listen to what people say, they usually tell us that they were in an extreme state of stress, that they had all kinds of panic symptoms. And in addition to that, what we call dissociation, which means that you can't think rationally anymore. In the stress mode, your brain functions totally different from when you're outside the stress mode. And that means you're no more in a condition where you can find a solution to your problem. The brain, all the brain tries to do is to end this unbearable situation. And that's the one thing which I also want people to know and to learn, that you can get into such a state of mind where you're no more in control of what happens. And when we see people after a suicide attempt, most people say, I don't want to get into this kind of state anymore. It's awful. I wasn't myself. It was like in a trance, like acting like a robot. With our patients, we develop the warning signs and the strategies. What can you do when things get worse again, when it really becomes dangerous?
The best part of your brain is offline when you get upset like that. So when you get upset like that, that would be a good time to use your stabilization plan or your safety plan or your crisis response plan. That might be a good time to make an appointment.
Safety plan is a more specific, more detailed, described way of working with a crisis plan. It was developed by Barbara Stanley and Greg Brown. So you're doubling patients' adherence to follow-up consultations, and you are halving the risk of suicide attempts in the follow-up period. So what the therapist does is to ask patients what is normally typical thoughts or feelings or behaviors you have noticed is going on when you are feeling more suicidal. So what are the warning signs that you should notice and be aware of? What could be, for example, the thoughts, behaviors, or emotions that you could list, and that is warning signs for you to know when to start using some other strategies. And the next level would be then to help the patient to find some ways of responding to the warning signs. So what could you do? That's what we ask the patients. What could you do when these suicidal ideations comes back and are increasing in order to try and reduce them? What seems to be helpful? And then in a dialogue with the patient, we try to at least identify one or two strategies that the patients have felt could be helpful. It could be to start some activity in order to get the ideas or the thoughts away from the suicidal ideation. Some activity, for example, or it could be some input. It could be, for example, to listen to some music, watch a soap opera on the television, or to try and go online and check the news on the web, or it could be to contact some person, a person that could actually make you feel a little better, or it could be to do something physical. It could be some exercise. There are hundreds of things that many different people have felt could be help them distract away from the suicidal urges. And these should go as items on the safety plan, things that I can do in order to try and reduce these suicidal ideations when they come back. And then the next level again would be, who could help me when I feel that nothing works and I feel hopeless and I feel that somebody needs to help me? Can I list at least one or two people that I could contact and where I can actually talk to them or on the phone or physically in order to get my thoughts away from suicide and in order to find some way of dealing with this feeling? So that would be the third level. And then on the bottom line would be, what if everything fails and I can't get hold of any friends or people I could talk to? Where is doctors, and where is the crisis hotline? Where is the emergency room? Oh, where is my physician? Where is my psychiatrist? Should be some contact information in the bottom where I can call if I need to see somebody in a crisis, after I've tried all of the other things. And you know, all of these things are bits and parts of what we know from before seems to be helpful for people who are suicidal, and that can help them avoiding repeating suicidal behavior. And this package altogether is what we call a safety plan. And it's actually an evidence-based practice and an intervention that we can use in a transdiagnostic fashion. It works for most clinical populations. We do use the safety plan
approach. I think that's very helpful for patients. You make a list of the things that you're going to do, and you have it there, and you promise yourself, you know, the patient, you're going to follow that list. And I certainly do that.
That both here in Norway and in other countries, the safety planning has been also put into an app. I think is an excellent idea. For young people, for example, they only want to use it as an app. For other age groups, it could be that they want to use the paper version. I think we should be very flexible here.